Hi, my name is Holly Fairbank. I'm the Executive Director of the Maxine Greene Institute, and I'm honored to be invited to speak to this important conference. Thank you, Dan, to address the question, what would Maxine Greene do? I first met Maxine some 30 years ago at Lincoln Center Institute where she was the philosopher in residence, and when I was a dance teaching artist and later an administrator.
And I'm Amanda Gulla, professor of English education at Lehman College, also part of the City University of New York, and a board member of the Maxine Greene Institute. I'm also a poet and a writer and wrote a book based on my work in aesthetic education called Inquiry-Based Learning Through the Creative Arts for Teachers and Teacher Educators, which is part of a series edited by Dan Harris.
Amanda and I have collaborated on many projects, including teaching courses together and sometimes apart and together on aesthetic education in the CUNY system. So where we start is, well, of course, we cannot speak definitively for Maxine Greene on the subject of what she would have thought about technology that did not exist during her lifetime, but we can speak for our own ideas that are shaped by our work in aesthetic education and the beliefs and values that are reflected in her work. We are confident that Maxine would have offered us maybe not a solution, but an optimism towards what is possible. It seems to us that, like other technologies she experienced in her lifetime, Maxine would have embraced many of these possibilities that AI can provide: a tool to inspire, help edit, extend ideas, enhance creativity, and so forth. She was not a particular friend to new technologies, but Maxine was ever alert to new ways that humans communicated with one another. ChatGPT listens closely to the words you use, asks questions for clarification. It can even improvise on what it hears in a dynamic fashion. Maxine would no doubt have been impressed with these capacities. Its main function, however, is to search for probabilities, but not possibilities. AE does not encourage questions or curiosity. It can only give us answers. Does AI have an imagination the way Maxine would have understood the concept, we asked ourselves? When we engage with AI as a part of the creative process, it is up to us to understand how to contextualize, organize, and interpret what AI provides through its data collection and neural networks. We can collaborate with AI when we use those answers as a starting point to generate new questions and possible solutions. AI, however, has been known to hallucinate, invent sources and answers to fill the voids in its knowledge base. It takes from people's experiences, data from multiple sources, and creates an uncritical compendium, an amalgam of ideas lacking the essential elements of lived experience. When
we think about using AI in the classroom, one of the things that we think about is the fact that in an aesthetic education classroom, when we ask, what do you notice about a work of art? We're not looking for consensus. We're not looking for one ineffable truth. We're modeling how to develop the courage and confidence to take a critical stance within a community of learners. Differing points of view make us look more closely, which is why observation in community is an essential part of the aesthetic education practice. There are some fundamental aspects of AI that run counter to Maxine's basic premise for aesthetic literacy and learning. Aesthetic experience lies at the core of aesthetic education and what she refers to as wide awakeness, allowing oneself to be open to the world at hand through your senses and paying heed to the personal connection and emotions that occur. This requires that cognition and creativity have a body that experiences the world and a cognitive ability to make sense of that bodily experience. It requires an ability to empathize and to put oneself in another's shoes, to respond with not just thought and words, but with humanity, and to be able to imagine the pain and joy of others. Aesthetic education is connected to phenomenology in as far as we humans are capable, in fact, dependent on our bodies, our senses to make sense of our experience, our sensory experiences. Aesthetic education aims to educate the whole person, body, mind, and imagination toward meaningful learning, the kind that cultivates the imagination, the imaginative capacities, as well as the cognitive ones. Aesthetic education cultivates the opportunity to reach beyond, to move towards that which is not yet. Through the concept of wide awakeness, Maxine was indicating that self-knowledge and self-awareness is a critical aspect of aesthetic education. As she said, that is why we teachers must so emphasize the importance of persons becoming conscious of their own thinking and becoming conscious of their own consciousness.
Furthermore, in a world increasingly challenged with untruths and misinformation, it is more critical than ever that we educate to enhance critical thinking skills, to think for oneself and find ways to communicate and reach out, to listen to other points of view, and to withhold judgment. Wikipedia is a fantastic tool for research and for inspiration and information much of the time, but many students fall back on the information without critical thought. They settle for an answer given to them and resist living in the question, in ambiguity, in the unfamiliar. We believe that aesthetic education, as Maxine conceived of it, can help students develop the critical thinking skills to recognize what is and what is not real, and when, why, and how images are being created or altered to manipulate the viewer's responses. AI itself may not have an agenda yet, but it is created, controlled, and utilized by people who do have agendas. This makes the critical thinking developed through an aesthetic education practice more essential than ever. To remain on equal footing with the advantages AI is capable of bringing humanity, we humans need to maximize our extraordinary gift of being human. The AI revolution is, in many ways, comparable to the Industrial Revolution, and comparably, it will require that we rethink how we do our jobs, how we make sense of the world, how we fit into it, and how we teach and learn. Educational systems will need to evolve to imagine things as if they could be otherwise, and provide spaces where people can maintain agency, identity, freedom. Freedom to choose, to create meaning and change one's mind, to trust their senses, to teach them about the world, to make their own connections between ideas and experiences with and through their own unique bodies. As far back as 1995, Maxine Greene was alert to these concerns. In her book, Releasing the Imagination, she said, efficiency, competence, and saleability used as standards seem to have eaten away the ideal of citizenship. Indeed, the demands being made of education today have far more to do with world-class technical achievement than the creating of a community of citizens.
So we're really just at the beginning of this journey with AI, and as educators scramble to figure out how to integrate AI into education in various ways, we have to be informed by that concern that Maxine just voiced way back in 1995. We can't yet anticipate the various ways in which AI will be integrated into education, but we need to worry, will we even have schools anymore? What will they look like? Will communities still invest in building and maintaining school buildings and hiring teachers, resisting the temptation to cede education to machines? It's easy to dismiss such fears as Luddite paranoia, but it would be more useful instead to anticipate the possibilities and decide what kind of relationship we want to build with AI, rather than wake up to a changed world in which all reality is relative. To empathize with other humans, not only cognitively or intellectually, but because we can identify with others through our felt experiences. Maxine has articulated these ideas through her writings. Her educational philosophy seems more relevant than ever now.
Thank you.
Thank you.